If I had one thing to describe today's workout as, I guess it would be satisfaction. That I can continue to push and accomplish what I'm looking to do in these sessions, especially as I'm really kind of breaking new territory. Squatting 305 for 5. This was an endeavor. I really wasn't sure how I was going to be able to do after the first set, just because it felt like a bit of, quite a bit of work. It's definitely heavy. And I, took some time between the last few reps in the first set just to kind of feel it out and see where I was at with that, and decided I'm going to keep going. I have always said that if anything I was, going to start failing or start getting difficulty in it, I'm just going to call it good, just because I don't want to risk injuring myself, for the sake of saying that I hit these numbers. Because what good does that really accomplish if you can hit it once and then you damage your MCL, or you pull a quad, or you tear something? What have you actually accomplished? You put the number up on paper, but you can't do it again. And I just took each one in stride, but had to kind of psych myself up each time and just say, hey, you already crushed one set. You can get the second. You did the second, you can hit the third. You did the third easily. You're already more than halfway through. Just do the fourth. I've done 4 sets. What's one more? Just finish this out. Get this weight done. And we've got one more day, of doing this, and then we're able to deload. And let me tell you, my quads were definitely feeling it doing this. There was a lot of work being done, especially in like my left quad, which has always been a little bit larger than my right, but they are pretty much the exact same size and muscle mass. It's just I feel like I have better utilization of the muscle on my left side of my body, and that's kind of consistent throughout both of my arms and my legs. But man, this is just something else. 305. After cruising through 300 on Tuesday, this is just a battle to get through, and I'm glad to have these kinds of days, because you really can't get stronger unless you have to fight against something and develop. You can't be comfortable and develop high-end strength. If you're always complacent and going in something that's very easy for you, what are you looking to do if you're trying to push for strength? You're not really in a position to really develop anything, because you're not being challenged. Your body's not being forced to adapt. You're not being put into a position to where you're going to change your mind-muscle connection to where your body goes, this is how you respond to this weight, or we need to develop more muscle in these muscle groups, in these parts of our body to accommodate this load. And you have to push and feel discomfort. You have to, not necessarily I'd say discomfort, but just work. And I relish these days. But man, is it starting to feel a little exhausting. It's been almost 5 or 6 months now of just straight loading. And I don't know, I might take a month off of loading my back squats after this. Maybe just do some front squats and just kind of feel those out. Give my back squat some time to rest and recover. Maybe pick a weight and cruise at it, and the back squats, like 280 or something. Just kind of hold steady for a little bit and just kind of let my body relax and take some time to fully adapt to what I've done to it, because I have done a lot and it feels phenomenal. I was looking at some clips as I was kind of putting this together, and I'm looking pretty good. I got to say, my upper body's looking a lot more developed, even though I'm not really doing as much like upper body work. Here was I'm pretty excited I got through that. But it's coming together really well. My back's starting to get a little bit bigger. And yeah, especially feeling today with the deadlifts, 350 for 5 sets of 5, huge accomplishment. I know people tend to say that ideally your 5x5, or you should be able to do 80% of your max deadlift, of your a deadlift for 5 sets of 5. So if you're to hold that true with 350 pounds, you're looking at somewhere in the ballpark of about 440 pounds, which is where my max deadlift is. And doing the math kind of in my head, if I can hit close to 400 pounds for 5 sets of 5, I can pull a 500, no problem. And if I were to keep loading this lift, specifically the trap bar deadlift, the way that I have been, adding 15 pounds or so every single month, I would be able to hit that mark by August. And this is one to where I haven't really felt as much strain from loading it as I have on my barbell on my back squats, just because I don't think I've quite yet hit my upper limit on this. And I think I'm stronger than I thought, and I definitely have a lot more strength output to exert here. And I think that giving myself 3-4 months more time to really kind of push this is going to be enough. It will be enough for me to really kind of develop that just a little bit further, to get that extra 60 pounds or so in my deadlift. And again, I think I am well over a 440 deadlift, especially when I pulled that 440 for the first time since tearing my shoulder. It's just a matter of being able to utilize the strength and the muscles that I have to move that weight. Everything is just coming together the way that I wanted it to. This is the way I've designed my program to work. It's not 100% my design. Obviously this is based off of the Strongless 5x5, but even then it's still my own take on it, because I've recognized how my body responds to this, and that I wanted to focus on deadlifting. And so I'm focusing on all the mechanics of deadlifting to make sure that I get better at this. Because if you want to get better at deadlifting, you got to deadlift 3-4 times a week. If you want to get better at squatting, you got to squat 3, 4, 5 times, or even every single day in the week. Same with bench. If you want to get better at bench, you got to bench more. If you want to get better at overhead press, you have to do it more. And I've really kind of worked that out with myself. Could I stand to do more? Maybe, but I think loading 3 days a week with deadlift and variations is a lot on the body, and I don't know if I could necessarily handle more. But right now I'm cruising through, and I've yet to kind of feel the same strain that I did doing the block pulls, which I think I was just doing those for way too long and way too heavy for what I was needing to do with them. But as long as things are going well and I'm not feeling discomfort, I'm not feeling pain after these sessions, I'm on the right track. If I'm feeling tired, that's one thing. That's an accomplishment, to feel tired and exhausted at the end of a workout, because that tells me that I've put the proper amount of work in to get any sort of growth and development out of this. So it's all about just small, consistent progress and being able to work through day in, day out, week after week, month after month, just slowly building what I have. Kind of touching on the more bodybuilding side of it that I've been working with. Just did some straight arm pull downs at 20 kilos, 45 pounds or so. And, those are feeling pretty good for 45 pounds. And did that for 3 sets. Felt, a little bit of work in the shoulders, but I recognized I could do a little bit more. So I threw another 2.5 pounds on for the last set. Did 47.5 pounds. And it's a little heavy. It wasn't necessarily not doable, but it was definitely a bit of a load on the shoulders. So good. It was, good response there. Kind of the things I'm needing to do to build up more strength around that right shoulder to avoid any sort of future injury with it, and just kind of develop more muscle to work with. I did a good job of addressing the body English that I was noticing in the last time I did these. Good, strong, flat back, consistent shoulder movement, and not really using the body to swing this down, just purely in the shoulders and traps to just get that weight down, and not really rely on the triceps to finish that push. It was getting a little difficult by the last few reps, but that's okay because it's heavier than what I was working with before. I am progressing the lift here. This final bit was just doing some close grip barbell rows. These are 65 pounds for the first 2 sets. Just did 3 sets of 10, and then a final set at 70 pounds. The final set was a little heavy, I guess, just because of how quickly I was going through them. And, again, I haven't really done these quite so often. It's been close to a year that I've really kind of focused on bodybuilding, in depth. One thing I noticed kind of looking at the clips in the video is that my upper body looks real good when the barbell's at my waist. Just kind of pausing that and looking at that figure. I'm looking good. My upper body's really coming together, and I'm just kind of feeling good about the development of this. Of me and my physique. Just because to get stronger, you have to get more muscle to get. But that's not the whole picture of it, because you have to learn how to utilize that muscle. But putting on muscle has always been kind of difficult for me. My body struggles to add weight. I, have a very high metabolism, and my body just goes through nutrients very quickly. So I have to eat a lot of, protein every single day, a lot of carbs and calories every single day, just to not only maintain weight, but just to add a little bit, week after week. And it takes work, but it's working. And I'm just wanting to see where this keeps going.